With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
The following program is produced by the Tech Talk Radio Network.
I don't want to buy just the absolute primo system out today. That usually wastes money. So I'll be doing some digital photography, maybe some video editing. Don't do any gaming at all, so I don't have that demand on the computer. I was wondering what you guys would suggest, either in brands or just in general speed, and where do you go to get the maximum bang for the buck right now?
Sounds like you want a Mac.
Welcome to another episode of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeerd.
I'm Matt Jones.
And I'm Slick.
And Justin is out today. Something about going to the mountains? You went camping or something like that?
He went camping, and so far every picture that I've seen of Eric has not shown a pleased face to be out camping amongst the great outdoors.
You know, it's hard to convince kids with all the technology we have today that being out in the great outdoors is a fun thing to do.
Look, it's a stick. Look, it's another stick.
Hey, I really enjoy camping, so I take offense.
Yeah. And now, have you taken the kids out camping, though? And do they appreciate the experience?
As much as they can for being 3 and 6 months old.
Oh, yeah. So,
I mean, I grew up camping, right? My mom was camping when she was pregnant with me. I've been camping my entire life. So we went camping when Caitlin was pregnant with Max. We went camping, 3 weeks after Max was born. 2 weeks after Daniel was born. Like, we've been camping. We camp all the time.
I'm not anti-outdoors.
You're not? How many times have you been camping, Slick?
I'm going to say, I think, honestly, that can qualify as camping 2. One is early teens in Albuquerque near the Rio Grande, Boy Scouts. And then once some crew, we went from Power 1450, we went up to, I want to say Mount Lemon. We went up to one of our mountains here.
Right.
Whatever one we got.
It's like a radio promotion for
No, we just one weekend, you know, somebody did their last shift day of the afternoon, and we were hanging around somebody's house, and we were like, hey, you know, and even our wives and our girlfriends were there. This was amazing. We pulled this off. We're like, you know what? Let's just go camping. And we took off.
Wow.
And they let us.
Really? They thought you were never coming back. Yeah.
I do have a question for Shawn. Serious question.
Right.
So when you go camping, being a tech guy, you know, I do envy anyone that could go camping. I do envy, because that's literally living off the land. I really do. I wish I could do it. I wish I knew how to do it. I wish I had the skills. But when you do go camping, what tech are you taking with you?
Oh, so we've talked about this on the show, right? So I've done a variety of camping, right? I've done tent camping. I've done camper camping. I've done RV, like motorhome camping. I've done all the gamut, right? But in terms of tech, right, it depends. It depends on what I'm doing, where I'm going, how much you can carry, how much you want to take with you. If we're going, like right now, if I were to pack up my camper, the technology I would take with me would be, I have my camera bag with my 2 DSLRs in it, because if I'm going camping, I'm probably going to be shooting some nighttime stuff. I'm taking, you know, my power inverter, so I can be powered and plug it into solar and charge it. I don't have a drone, so I'm not taking one of those. And then I had done this when we went traveling out west, just in case the weather got bad and we were stuck inside. I built my own mobile Plex server on a Raspberry Pi and a 2 terabyte hard drive with a TP-Link mini AP. So it's literally a 2-inch by 2-inch cube that is a wireless access point with one Ethernet port in it. So I turn it on, plug in the Pi, boom, Plex server on the go.
Not bad.
And it all runs off 12 volts.
So you get on the great outdoors and you watch content.
Hey, I will say, when we went up to the UP, the Upper Peninsula, for those who don't live in Michigan, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and it rained for like a day and a half, and Max was stuck inside and wanted to watch Lightning McQueen on YouTube, because that's what he wants to watch right now.
Yeah.
I was able to rip some of those videos from YouTube and put them on my Plex server.
Perfect. Yeah.
So then I just pull out the iPad, connect to the wire, the TP-Link, and I've got access to all those videos that I've put on there for him to watch.
Oh, that's cool. It keeps him entertained. So at least, in that situation.
So So yeah, so I take a lot of photography tech with me, right? I'm still pretty heavily into analog film shooting. So I take my Minolta X700 with me. I have my Polaroid camera. I've got probably like 7 cameras that I take with me, right? So
Yeah.
So you're still developing film?
I ship it off to Indie Film Labs, which is about $10 to $12 per roll, depending on the type of film you send them. But
It has a real different look, Slick. Well, a few weeks ago, we took a look at some of the photos that Shawn had taken, and it just these are photos you had developed that were what, 20 years old? I mean,
yeah, so I shot two new rolls of film that were probably 20 years old. But then I also had a disposable film camera that had pictures on it from I don't even know when.
Yeah.
And I just shipped that in and they developed it. And that one had been the film had some degradation. I don't know if it was mold or whatever, but they didn't come back looking super great. But the stuff I shot on my Minolta, the 2 rolls looked really good. And I got some of my favorite pictures from that trip were on from that camera versus my DSLR.
You know, it's funny. If you think about it, though, Shawn, with the pictures that we take with film, it's a different look. You know, now you look at it, AI is going to be able to take that, and you could tell it. You could have AI apply a filter that would say a Kodachrome look, or an early film look.
I have a philosophy in my photography that I do. I don't shoot to edit and post.
There you go.
Right? I shoot to post. Like if I were to put it on the internet, like say shoot to post, I take a picture, I do very minimal editing, right? I shoot in RAW on my DSLR. So yeah, okay, the raw images look pretty flat, right? They're meant to be enhanced by bringing out the contrast, the highs, the lows, a little bit of chroma, but I don't do any other post editing. I have never gotten into it. I'm not good at it because I've never spent the time to do it because that takes away the value of the art to me. AI is taking the human experience out of being a human being. That's my philosophy on AI. There are benefits to AI, but that is, to me, the biggest downfall of this is that the human experience needs to create things. We need to create things. We need to do things that take our mind and put emotion to them and put them on a medium: drawings, photography, art, music, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If you start taking that away from people, I don't know what that's going to do. AI hasn't been around for a whole long time, but other things that have taken away creativity from people you've seen terrible things happen.
I agree with you, Shawn, but you look at how technology has progressed. When we were shooting film and you would get it processed, and there was an excitement about, opening up and seeing the photos. And then Photoshop comes along, or Corel even. You could do things with it. You could manipulate. And then Wacom comes out with these great tablets to make it easier. And now we're at that stage where, yeah, we've done a lot with that. And there's some great Photoshop artists that are out there that have taken photos that they've shot and enhanced them incredibly using Lightroom and Photoshop. But now we have AI doing it for us. And
right. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that like digital art isn't a thing. Digital art is a very, very much a thing, right? You see it in tons of video games. There are a lot of great video game artists and digital artists that have created beautiful and engaging and just amazing content. AI is still taking out the human experience, right?
I'm entirely with Shawn on this one. One of the great quotes that I saw the other day was, AI was supposed to make my work and job easier so I could focus on my art and craft, not take my art and craft out of my hands so I could only focus on my job.
That's a great quote.
Yeah.
Send me that quote. Wherever you found it from, send it to me. Because whoever wrote that quote, I want to meet them in person.
I want to copy that too.
Yeah. It really does, in my last job, we had AI starting to roll out on, any vendor software. They were like, well, with our new, Charlotte AI component, it was, I could just be like, hey, do this and that and put these guys in these groups and let me know when it's all done. And that task might have taken me, half an hour normally. I ask it to do it and it's just like, bip, bap, all right, I'm done. That's what AI was supposed to be for. It was supposed to be like, hey, make our jobs easier, make manufacturing easier, take us out of the places that, we're spending 40 plus hours a week at. So I can go camping, I can draw, I can do photos to where we don't have to live to work. Like we just, work becomes a small component of our lives. There was actually the CEO of NVIDIA equated where we are with AI to the next industrial revolution. I think we talked about this last show. Is that, you know, the original industrial revolution was because you had, before you didn't have, you know, the standardization of parts. Like, people are like, oh, Henry Ford, creator of the automobile. He was not the creator of the automobile. They were already making them in Europe well before that. He was the guy who perfected the assembly line. So every Model T that came off the line was like everyone before, everyone after. He could just crank it out by volume. We are now at the technological equivalency of that with AI. Like, for example, I was applying to jobs today, and my wife was like, hey, you know, I know you normally don't do it. Make sure you do a cover letter. I went into ChatGPT and I was like, hey, here's my resume. Here's the link to the job posting. I need a cover letter. And it would just, boom, here's your cover letter. And it would even pull, like, you know, it's my name, contact information, all that, you know, hiring manager at, and it's the company, and it pulled the address and everything out of there, populated, customized it. I had 6 cover letters done in 15 minutes.
Yep.
Okay, cool. But when you looked at the cover letter, how did you feel about each individual letter, though?
Each individual letter was different, customized to the position, customized to the company, customized to what the company does, their values, what they're trying to push, what industry they were in. It was not a boilerplate. Like, if I'd done it, I'd have had like this boilerplate letter with like a couple of sentences that I would change in between them all, and just been like, yeah, that's good enough. All right, yeah, that's fine. I don't do cover letters. Like, I never have. This one, it's just like, I'm reading this and I'm like, man, that's really good. Like, that's, you know,
maybe I should start using ChatGPT.
I'll tell you, Slick, I should start using AI more, man. This is nice.
Slick, there are a lot of benefits.
Right. So I got added on as part of the ChatGPT pilot for campus at Notre Dame. So I've been playing with it at work. There are I was anti-AI everything when it was the rage, right? You guys know about that. I was like, no, I'm never going to do ChatGPT. I'm not doing it. But then I was like, how could, like, it started coming up where we were doing all this cloud production and we're doing all this stuff, and how can AI help us in advance the technology in our work? And I saw value in that. So that's where my focus with AI is focusing on how I can use it to enhance my work experience. I am using it on a personal level to do some creative storytelling. Like, you know, I've done it with my Dungeons and Dragons campaigns where I'm taking the audio transcript and generating a short story format, which has been awesome.
Yeah.
And I've been learning how to properly prompt the ChatGPT to give me what I want, which in turn has helped me prompt it better at getting the things done I wanted to do for work. So using AI has been beneficial to me, but I still am hard-pressed to try and do music, photography, other artworks, or like, just because it doesn't sit well with me.
I'll tell you, it's been interesting, and some of you know that I've been working with middle school and high school kids about creating podcasts, and the program has been great. It's worked out really well. And I was talking to a principal the other day who said, you know, I would love the idea about possibly you coming in and teaching them about technology and, you know, creating digital technology and using AI. And I told the principal, I said, if we were to teach the kids, number one, AI, the coursework would change within about 5-6 months. And the only thing we can teach with AI is how to summon the AI that they need. Like the problem a lot of people have when it comes to some of the AI that's out there, and maybe whether it be ChatGPT, DALL-E 3, or some of the others that are available, is getting the right results by asking the proper questions. And the better the question, the more streamlined, the better the result you're going to get. And that's what some people are not understanding about it. However, I will tell you, and Slick, I know that this will kind of, you being from a radio broadcasting background, I fell down the rabbit hole this past week. Google has launched something new called Notebook LM. It's actually, it's experimental. And if you have a Google account, you can try this experimental AI, which is an AI-powered tool that is designed to help users understand information by summarizing notes and sources. So you get a bunch of notes, you throw them into this notebook LM and you have it create a synopsis, a summary, or even a couple of people talking about it like a podcast. Now, what I created sounded very similar to what would be morning radio or maybe even a podcast itself. And again, it could help, they say, students in studying. It works by training a specialized AI in the documents that users upload. The AI then becomes an expert on the user's documents and can provide specific resources. So I'm going to play a little audio for you. Now, remember, I took notes and I uploaded them. And these are two AI people talking about what I had uploaded.
All right, everybody, deep dive time. You ready? We've got a wild mix of stuff to unpack today.
Definitely. Should be interesting.
I was just looking over these news snippets and the event you sent. Looks like we're going to be talking about everything from like ad overload to ad ownership, and then to top it off, a free local event this weekend.
Sounds like a plan.
So let's jump right in, huh? This first one, this Business Journal's article, right? It says we're hit with, get this, 4,000 ads every single day.
Now, remember, all I did was uploaded the story about the 4,000 ads. And that was it. That's all I did. I uploaded a bunch of stories, and then I sent a story about an event that happened
Green-eyed
today.
Beauties. What about you, though? What workshops are you most excited about?
Oh, man, tough call. But honestly, those computer basics and online safety ones sound super useful, especially these days, you know?
No doubt about it.
So you listen to the AI. Did that not sound like two real people having a conversation?
I from listening to it, the way their cadence was totally not human to me.
Really?
Right. Now, generally, I would agree with you. This one could have fooled me. Now, because the other ones I could kind of catch. This one could have fooled me.
No, that fell firmly in the uncanny valley for me. That it was just, I'm with Shawn. Like the cadences, the pauses, and the breaks were just at those couple degrees off. Mm-hmm. Just like I'm like Now,
let me say this behind what I just said. This one could have fooled me, but I wouldn't listen to these two because I don't listen to people on the radio like this already. There are people like this on air already I can't stand, and I don't listen to their shows.
I was driving on Friday morning or Thursday morning listening to a show very similar to this, and I remember thinking this when I did this on Thursday or Friday morning. I remember thinking, well, that sounds like that show I listened to yesterday. But the pauses to me are what made it give it that little edge of humanity. So I don't know. I mean, you were listening to the same thing, but maybe it is two different things. It was just so creepy.
Now, the thing that makes this extra creepy for me is, have you guys ever heard of the dead internet theory?
No.
Okay, so this is, please, listeners, be aware, I am putting on my tinfoil hat for this.
All right.
So I'm just going to throw that out there. The dead internet theory started around 2021. Of course, it started with like a 4chan post, which, bastion of good information there.
Mm-hmm.
But the dead internet theory was basically that actual organic human interaction on the internet has been on a steady decline, replaced instead with bots and algorithmically created content. So that you have no idea, because of the pure anonymity of the internet, for example, 4chan, Reddit, Quora, sites like that, where it's just you pick a username and that's it, that you have no idea whether you're actually interfacing with an organic live human being or a bot created by somebody else. And now we've got this stuff that can create, a pseudo-sounding radio show to go on top of it. I'm just like, oh, this is great. I'm not going to wake up at 3 a.m. with an existential crisis of what's actually real. That's not going to happen at all. Gee, thanks, Andy. I really appreciate that one. So, like, people are like, oh, the dead internet theory is just I'm like, it might have been, but we are. Somebody looked at that in 21 and was like, oh, damn, that's like a really good idea.
Yeah. You'll never sleep again.
I bet if like AI got real and now somebody at Google is just like, oh, yep, yeah, let me just make a product that can do that for you. That's fine.
I tested this out by uploading a story from last year about a fireworks festival that happened here in Sahuarita. And it was just a short little blurb, a press release. and it took the two people talking about the event. Well, what blew me away is they pronounced Saborita the correct way. A lot of people call it Sarita, or they give it a different name, but they actually pronounced it right. And again, that just blew me away. It makes me wonder, in light of radio, and radio is competing with so many different technologies now, radio broadcasting. Slick, I just wonder, you've heard stories about there's one big, huge radio group out there that has had, AI DJs that has been doing that. A radio station that says, well, we serve the market, could take that, upload it, and it could be running on the air, and, some people wouldn't even have any idea that that's what was going on.
Yeah, that's sad. That's sad. By the way, Matt, are you awake or are you asleep? Look at the look on his face. I just love that. He's like, what? You're already freaking him out.
You're talking about the dead internet. Yeah.
When humanity's dead and gone, there's still going to be like podcasts getting pumped out, radio broadcasts going. The aliens are going to show up and just be like, dude, we got to get off this planet. I got to think through some things now. I did not sign up for this tonight.
All right, we're going to try Shawn bumped out. We're not sure what happened to his signal. We're going to try and see if we get Shawn back. We do have to take a quick break. We'll be back with more of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Matt Jones.
And I am Slick. Our website is TechtalkRadio.com.
We'll be right back.
Now, back to Tech Talk Radio.
So I was talking earlier about, with AI creating the cover letters, things like that. My wife and I have found this awesome dog park. Shout out to Skiptown, Denver. This place is like, it's sandals for dogs. Like they do grooming, training, boarding, daycare, and then they've got this giant open dog park that now also has a splash pad. The whole thing's turfed. There's like 6 attendants out at any time. They have a rule that like no waste of any kind can be on the turf for more than 30 seconds.
Oh, wow.
So like you'll see a dog like mark a table and somebody's immediately like following right behind, sprays it up. And starting Wednesday, they'll have a full bar. Well, hopefully Wednesday, they'll have a full bar, and they currently have a coffee shop. The reason I bring this up is because that's where I've actually been working out of for like the past week. We'll get up, load up one of the dogs, and we'll take them and just let them go play for like 3-4 hours.
Cool.
That's also why I bought my MacBook Pro. So I had something to do that with. But I discovered when I was there after like the first trip, I was like, one monitor, the nerd that I am, does not cut it. Mm-hmm. So I had mentioned that to Lee, and because Google is ever present and always watching, I had an ad targeted to me a few days later, and I just got the product over the weekend, and it's called Monduo, Monduo.
All right, Monduo.com. Do you have a website, or is it
Monduo.co?
All right, cool.
And it comes in 2 versions. It comes in a version for 14-inch laptops and a version for 16-inch laptops. Monduo is short for Monitor Duo. So it's a little thicker than the current MacBook Pros, but it basically, you fold it open and then it like expands a bit and then clamps onto your monitor screen. You plug in 2 USB-C cables, and now I have 3 monitors anywhere I go.
Oh, wow.
And this, I will admit, it is not the cheapest of the solutions. It was like $750 for the whole thing, but they're 144 hertz, 500 nits for brightness, and they've actually got like the full resolution and can match or even surpass the brand new Retina display on my MacBook Pro.
Oh, wow. So they're not cheap. They're cheap quality. They're built well.
They're built very well. It's got a great feel to it. It's not one of those where like when you open it, you're like, this is going to shatter in like 2 seconds. And clamps on. You can either use USB-C or Thunderbolt 4, I think is the other version. But then each side also has mini HDMI if you need that as well. And with the MacBook Pro, and as you guys know, how many times I've railed against Mac stuff, against Apple stuff on this show. It is my shtick. It's right there with Justin's. But this was great because I just plugged it in on both sides. It was instantly recognized, instantly expanded the displays, set the resolution and brightness to match everything else, adopted over my wallpaper. And now I'm sitting there at the table in this dog park watching my dog have a ball with 3 monitors spread straight across, and they're all the same size in a nice, beautiful line. And anyone who has set up multiple monitors before knows that one of the greatest pet peeves is when you've got like 2 in a line and that third one's just sitting like that little bit lower.
Yes. Oh, yeah. It's frustrating.
And you're just like, oh, great, I got to re-drill the whole mount into the wall or find some cardboard. But they're perfectly in line, supported. It's got a little kickstand. I can do full work remote anywhere now with those 3 monitors.
Are the kickstands on back of each of those 2 monitors? Do they have one for each monitor? Oh, where is it?
It's just in the middle, and it folds down and then sits in place, and just because you have the clamp providing pressure on the sides, gravity having it at the top, and that little kickstand is just a little bit of extra. I mean, my dog was running around bumping the table the whole time, and the monitors were steady, man. It was great.
Can you move them back and forward with that kickstand? Can you adjust how far back it leans or how close it comes?
Yeah, I mean, you can't do where you have like one close to you and then like the other 2 are like sitting 6 inches back or anything like that. It does like wing in and out, so it can either be in a straight line or kind of a curve.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what you're talking about, you can do that. So you can just have like 3 straight across. You can have them kind of bent in and have, your own little laptop cave sitting there in the coffee shop. I'm an internet troll. Leave me alone. Which is definitely what somebody called me out on today. They were like, so you brought the basement with you? And I was like, first off, well done. Second off, uncalled for. Like, how dare you say something so blatantly accurate?
Yes, exactly. One of the things I loved about a dual monitor setup, and I haven't tried the 3 yet, and I've got 2 different monitors that I've tried to make it happen. The first one I really like, but is being able to, some people say they just want to extend their desktop. Others say they want to have a separate screen. So somebody could watch, Netflix, or could watch Peacock, or use that for graphs and have maybe be editing something in the middle. I like to extend the desktop. Can you do all 3? So you have a left screen, middle screen, right screen. It's all one big gigantic desktop that you can move back and forth.
I mean, that's how it's set up when I plugged it all in. It doesn't read it as one unit. What you're talking about, like for example,
extended
PC,
desktop, yeah.
From my desktop, because I have 2 monitors. I used to have 3. Now my wife has her own computer, and I have 2 monitors. Guess where the third went to?
Mm-hmm.
But when I had 3, AMD has something called iFinity, and on a software side, it'll actually group all those together as one solid display. It doesn't. I would have to tweak around because that's more of a software thing on the Mac side, but it does. You have monitor 1, 2, 3, and I can seamlessly drag between all 3 of those windows like it's nothing.
Now, you're using a 14-inch MacBook. I know on the 16-inch MacBooks, they have on each side, left and right, they have 2 USB-C ports. What do you have the same?
I have the same, but the Monduo comes with a short USB-C or Thunderbolt. It's the same bloody thing. They have a short cable and a long cable, so you can do I just use the 2 on the left to keep the right side free. So I'm right-handed if I want to plug a flash drive or something in. So I do the long cable from the right monitor looping around, plugging in on the left side, and then the short cable from the left side to the left side, and that still leaves me a free USB-C port on the right side of my MacBook Pro.
Are you thinking about getting now like a hub so that you could add more devices? Because that's the thing we're seeing, especially with laptops and mobile devices. You're not going to find a whole bunch of USB-Cs, USB-As, these types of connectors. So maybe a hub to extend your connections and maybe get more?
Don't need to, because they have 2 USB-C ports per monitor per side.
Oh, wow. So you plug those in, but then you've got almost like a hub on that monitor itself.
Yep.
Okay, now I understand the price, too.
I was looking at that thing, and I was like, ooh, well done, Google ad algorithm. Yeah. I'm going to give you the W on this one. Like, you are creepy, but today you succeeded. Very, very well done.
That is good. So I wanted to share with you, too, that today was the last day for my Android venture, going to the Google Pixel 9 XL, the Pro 9 XL. And, I was told if you're going to return it, you have 15 days. Today was the day. And over the weekend, I made sure that I got the heck use out of it. I was using the AI on that. And I was comparing it. So I'd have, my iPhone sitting next to it, and I'd ask a question to the Google AI, which is Gemini, and it would give me a really great answer, concise, the info I needed. I would ask Siri, and it would pop up a little screen, not even repeat what I was asking, and I'd have to read it if I wanted to. And Slick, I don't know about you, but when you're doing a radio show and you're doing show prep, sometimes you just blurt out, "Hey, tell me this," and it gives you the answer. I don't want to have to pick up the phone and read it and the whole bit. The other reason, the call screener. Apple.
Oh yeah.
Apple does not have a call screener, at least right now. I don't know if they do with the new 16, but the call screener in this is great. I've been using it and I love it. You can push a button, it will screen your call for you, and then you could ask, "Can you give me more info?" Or you could pick up that call, or you could send it to voicemail. So better assistant features, call screener. I will say that the pics are okay with it. The Apple, I kind of liked a little better. The pics in the video. It takes a little while to charge as well. And the battery life of the iPhone 14 Pro Max seemed to be a bit longer than the Pixel. I had to buy a case for this today, and I ended up getting this Taurus magnetic, and it has a kickstand on it. So you can kickstand your smartphone while it's, on your desk, or even lay it sideways in landscape mode. One problem I was having, if you're somebody like me, you're going from an iPhone to an Android, I was getting people who were texting me, and I was not getting the text on my Android device. They were still going to my iPhone, because, of course, I keep everything. And even with the iPhone off, I turn it on, and there were messages. So I was trying to figure out, why is that happening? And people say, "Hey, did you get my messages?" Like, no.
Because you didn't deregister the phone from the iMessages service.
Or just turn off the iMessages service. Yeah, if you don't have the device, you could get in touch with Apple and they could deregister it. Or you could go into the iPhone itself and just turn off iMessage. I never knew that. So that's why the iMessages, as soon as I'd be within Wi-Fi range, then I would get the messages. So again, hopefully now I will get all the messages. I figured out the apps, and I'm liking it. So
you figured out the apps? That's a strange statement from you. You figured out the apps.
Yeah, well, because you could scroll up this way. You get all the apps, or you can take each app and move it to where you want it to go, and eventually get your complete lineup of apps.
Oh, the arrangement. Okay, I get you.
All right, which is really good, because we did get a question that was sent to us. Actually, it came in last week, and I thought it was pretty cool because they were listening to this. It says, "Hey guys, heard the show last week," which would be a couple of weeks ago, "and you were talking about the move from Apple to Android. But I'm wondering, years ago, I remembered on iTunes, you could organize the apps on the smartphone. So you connect your smartphone, you go into iTunes on your PC, and there were your screens, and you could move the apps where you wanted them to go." And I remember when that went away, I was kind of bummed at that too, because I like that. Anyway, he said, "Is there something like this on the Android devices?" And this was from Scott in Tucson. I haven't found it yet. You guys know is there anything like this?
And I've never used that feature, arranging the apps via iTunes and stuff. Now with iOS 18, the latest version of the operating system, I've noticed I can now put icons in specific locations.
You could always do that, couldn't you?
No,
No,
for the longest time you couldn't, which is why Android users were dying laughing when Apple's like, "This brand new innovative feature." And we were like, "Brand new what? We've had that for over a decade, my dude.
Yeah.
That's not new. You are copying our old notebook. Get a new one."
The moving the apps has been a bit of a chore, but now once I'm getting them set up, I'm really beginning to really like it. And again, it takes great. And this was kind of a joke a couple of years ago when I was doing the morning show over at 107, and we were talking about the fact that my co-host Dakota, her husband, would take pictures of the moon with his Samsung device. They look great, and she was so excited about the pictures of the moon. But I thought, how often am I going to go take pictures of the moon? And it's true, they look great on Android devices. iPhones, not so much.
That's because the Pixel devices and the Samsungs as well have with specific models, they have a literal astrophotography mode where you get your phone on a stable surface or something and you do night sight. And then a few seconds later, the phone's like, oh, you're doing astrophotography. Do you want me to switch to that mode? And you're like, yes, absolutely, do it. And you can take amazing astro pictures with that.
Absolutely.
It blew my mind the first time I did it.
Now, Scott, in Tucson, one thing you can do with the Android device, if you're thinking about it, is easily connect it to your Windows 11 PC. If you've got a Windows 11 PC, you can get your text messages on your computer. You can get your phone calls connected on your computer. You could read your mail messages. So again, that's something to take a look at. And I went ahead and set it up, and I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. You know, I do wish you could organize the apps that way, but no, it looks like that's something that went away some years ago.
That's Microsoft Phone Link, I think it's called.
Yeah, Phone Link is what it is.
You've got that for Windows 10 as well.
Not
just 11, it's also Windows 10. The other nice thing about, yes, the initial setup, getting your apps where you want them, everything like that, it's a pain. I'm not going to disagree. But once you have that done, when your phone does its backup, all those positions, everything like that, are saved as part of the backup. So say that phone had an unfortunate accident with gravity or something, or, a drink got spilled on it and it got fried. You get your new one, sign in your Google account, says, hey, do you want to restore from this latest backup, which it stores up in the Google Drive? Say yes. Pulls it all down, apps go in the same places. You only have to do it once.
Oh, I like that. That is good news. Didn't even know about that one. All right, we're going to take another quick break. We got a couple of more listener questions we'll get to coming up with Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Matt Jones.
And I am Slick. You can subscribe to the show. iTunes, Spreaker, TuneIn, Spotify, YouTube Music, and Amazon Music.
You got them all.
And now, back to Tech Talk Radio.
Questions. Oh, we get questions. Oh, we get lots and lots and lots and lots of questions. We don't have the jingle, so I had to sing it myself.
That's a good jingle. We could have a AI create one for us. I'll do that for next week.
God.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Matt, you got a question that you kind of thought was a good one.
Sure. Sorry, just had to reboot from my brain breaking from suggesting we do an AI jingle. Carrie has a question coming in. I think I'm dumbfounded by my Wi-Fi hotspot situation. I've been using my phone hotspot, but apparently my unlimited hotspot is limited, so I run out and can't watch TV. I'm struggling here trying to figure it out. I'm told that T-Mobile has a thingy I would need, but I can't get it. What it is, I'm not sure, and maybe somebody else makes this little thingy that I can buy. Question is, what do I need?
Ooh.
So this comes across as a two-parter question, but it's actually not. Carrie, what you are talking about is actually something that I noticed with my own cell phone plan the other day. I have Google Fi's unlimited, super duper premium plus, and it lists on there, unlimited this, unlimited that, and then you'll see unlimited hotspot data with a tiny little asterisks. Mm-hmm. And I can never say that word correctly, so I'm hoping I was close enough.
Okay.
But when you go down and you read the terms and conditions for that, most of them, what they say with their, quote, unlimited hotspot is you get 50 gigs or 25 gigs or whatever your plan is saying you get of, 5G hotspot data. And then when you go over that, it's not that you lose that data, it's that data then, and they'll usually list it, is then throttled down to 200 something kilobytes per second.
Oh, wow.
Now, for comparison's sake, 5G, 5G last time I checked on my phone was approaching gig speeds. That's gigabit per second. And then you go from gigabit to megabit to kilobit. So as you can see, that is a drastic drop off. So this is not so much what thingy you need to find. It's you need to check your cell phone plan with your provider and see what type of hotspot data limits you have, because even the unlimited ones aren't truly unlimited. If I use over X amount of mobile data on my quote unlimited plan, I still get data. It is an unlimited amount of data. I just don't get unlimited data at that speed. So the reason you can't watch the TV is because the data has gone from a fire hose to a trickling kinked garden hose.
Yeah.
And you're trying to move the same amount of data through it.
Is there any service out there that we could think of that will just give you the Wi-Fi features that somebody wants to watch Hulu, Peacock, whatever, 24/7 could be able to do? Or is that just, I mean, would Starlink be like a solution maybe?
Starlink would be a solution for that, depending on what plan you got. I know they've been trying to slash prices to get people down to that. The one that I honestly do with my phone is, hey, going back to what we were just talking about with Google Pixels. With my Google Fi membership, I get a free Google VPN hard cooked into my phone. So I will turn on my Google VPN and jump on like Panera's free Wi-Fi or, you know, the McDonald's around the corner or something like that, because traditionally speaking, as a security guy, when you jump on free Wi-Fi, it's not going to be secure. If there's no password and you can just hop on, there's a whole bunch of things that people can do. If you then jump on that and you're behind your own VPN, you're adding in your own layer of security with that. And that cuts down the amount of data you're using because you're not using your mobile data plan, you're using somebody else's free Wi-Fi.
Right. And that's if they're nearby. If you're in the sticks or you're somewhere that's, if
you're out and all you have is a cell signal, I mean, your hands are kind of tied there.
Yeah, you're going to be difficult on that one. So, so there is no thingy that we know of. I like the description of thingy. Slick, how do you watch your shows? Because I know you've always kind of gone antenna.
Generally, yes, antenna. But there are some streaming stuff that I do. But first, let me say, Matt, I'm so glad you explained this whole unlimited thing. Thank you for educating everyone. Because like he said, there's an asterisk there. Look below.
It's unlimited, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm doing the standard Cox thing as well as the free Wi-Fi hotspots kind of thing. I don't even think I get close because I'm so cheap to my my limit. If
your threshold.
Are we getting a terabyte and a half now? Generally, with internet service providers.
I think so. Yeah, I think, or even two terabytes. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even get close.
I remember when
I can't pay for
you got 20 gigabytes. That was it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I've been doing all the freebies. I've been doing free Bs, and there's free V, and then there's Pluto, and Zumo, and Tubi.
Right. But you see, that's
free V is
Amazon.
That's
Amazon.
Yeah. You know, I was thinking of the same thing of doing, cutting the cord. And, I'm paying a lot of money to Xfinity. And we've got a company coming out now called Ting in my area that is providing fiber. And it's like $85 a month, I guess, for quite a bit of bandwidth. But see, I'm one of those that I put it on. I leave the TV on all night. It's kind of, I go to sleep to it. It's just the way that I've been, raised and the whole bit. So I've got it on Hallmark all night, and I'm thinking, okay, if I was to have it on, the
Hallmark.
Golden Girls, sorry,
well, you haven't heard
Hallmark,
the Golden Girls, and
I'm sorry to interrupt, but you fall asleep to Big City Girl goes into the country and marries the apple cider orchard owner that she went to high school with, or some pumpkin spice flavor of that.
Sometimes,
I fall asleep to that channel.
Yes, I do. But I wake up.
I'm judging you so hard. I'm not even going to be polite about it, man.
But I wake up to Frasier.
It's feel good TV, but Hallmark. Come on.
This is the intervention I've been waiting for.
But here's the thing. I'm so used to that. If I have the TV on all night, that's eating up bandwidth. So, I mean, whether I'm watching that or Comedy Central or whatever, I'm eating up the bandwidth. I'm thinking I'm going to go through that pretty quick. So, again, that's going to be a big adjustment.
How much are you paying now, though?
$268 a month.
Whoa!
Yeah. And I've got...
I pay $65 a month for CenturyLink fiber coming directly into my house, gig up, gig down, and I have no caps.
But do you have any television that come with that too?
I don't need it. If I want television, I'll sign up for YouTube TV. And
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and I only sign up for YouTube TV for one very specific time of the year. And that specific time of the year is gloriously called football season.
Ah. Yeah, see, for me, it's October on Hallmark because that's when the holiday movies start appearing.
Here we go. It's always going back to the Hallmark Channel. Okay,
Hey,
Andy.
can you just see him waving the red flag in front of me, just like Toro? Come on, I know you wanna.
So with Ting, I do have a question, and if you can't answer it now, Andy, that's cool because you're considering or just getting started with them.
Yeah, considering.
I have had meetings with Ting, and Ting was purchased by Tucows, right?
Right.
Okay, so I'm interested in finding out, later, probably, your experiences with Ting, the features, all that stuff.
Yeah, they're basically tearing up the street right now, putting in their fiber. And they've already marked my box. They marked the street. So they're going to be doing that. And they've got an introductory where, first month is free. Then after, I think it's like $85 a month, which is about half of what I'm paying right now, just for the internet. And then you add, if I switch to YouTube TV, I'm saving about $100 right there. So again, and then there's certain deals. That's why I think Xfinity is doing a lot of deals right now, as well as Cox Cable going to be doing deals to bundle services so that you stay with them. Yeah. So you'll get a better deal because you pay Hulu, Disney $16-17, you pay Netflix $17. But that all adds up.
It's the new Cox Communications discount. Please don't leave us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But Andy, I did just check it for you. According to Gemini AI, there we go, looping back to AI and breaking my brain.
Right.
Ting Internet does not impose data caps on its fiber internet plans, and they do not have contracts or termination fees, as they do not believe in hidden fees.
So you can come and go as you please on this?
That's what it looks like. And I mean, that's what I have with CenturyLink. I am not locked into a plan. When I signed up, I got a price lock for life guarantee that as long as I'm there, it is $65 a month. Now, CenturyLink has started changing over to Quantum. I have not gotten looped into that yet, but from people in my neighborhood who've cut over saying it's the same thing. It is just, it's splitting off. So Quantum is the fiber business, and CenturyLink Spectrum, that's the other side of the house.
Right.
But yeah, it's $67 a month. Come and go as you please. No data caps. The only thing that I hope they change is the way that your modem authenticates to the device, to like the network, is this technology called PPPoE.
Right. Yeah.
Where your stuff comes into your house with a VLAN tag, and setting that up for like your own firewall and stuff is like, there's a point where it's like, I got to call in, I got to get my password, I got to break this drywall with my forehead. Like I will eventually get this working. And then, 3 beers and 6 hours later, you're like, you know what? Their router's not that bad. That's fine. That works. I'll just throw in some access points in the house and call it a day. I'm done.
That's the thing with the cable companies, the nickel and diming. And I have friends at work for the big cable companies, and I've appreciated the service, but the nickel and diming, you want a DVR box, you're going to pay for that for each box you have. That's also a converter. Oh, you also got to pay for the service for the DVR. You got to pay taxes to the city. You got to pay a sports tax, even though you maybe don't watch any sports channels. There's a lot of little things that when you look at your bill and you break it down, you just say, wow, it's just a little crazy. And from what I understand, you go YouTube TV, you don't pay for that DVR service. It's part of the YouTube TV, feature. And you get local channels as well. Now, I don't know. Oh, really? Oh,
mostly you get your local channels.
Oh, well, now what's going to be better? Hulu TV that does local as well, or YouTube TV?
Here's my problem, because now that there's MeTV Tunes,
right,
and that's on channel 4.4,
right,
I want to. the service I will consider will give me all of my digital subchannels, or
Okay.
I don't want you, because I've got to have Me TV tunes.
All right.
Got to.
There you
And
go.
Scripps News. Well, Scripps News I can stream.
Right. So I don't know. My main thing would be, do you get Fox 11? Because, you know, obviously
yeah.
I'm on Fox 11. I want to record my stuff on the DVR.
I mean, I'm pretty sure with YouTube TV that you can just check it before you sign up.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, if you sign up for YouTube TV, you get a 7-day free trial.
Right.
I got 2
So you
weeks.
get, I got 7 days because they caught me leaving and coming back and leaving and coming back. And they were like, listen, man, either commit to the relationship or break up with us. And I'm like, I will commit to you. I will commit to you from August through February, and then we're done. But that's the other great thing is YouTube TV now also has NFL Red Zone and NFL Sunday Ticket.
Perfect.
Can actually bundle those together, as my team is not in town. My wife's team is on the other side of the country. I was like, oh, so we can watch the Raiders-Ravens game and fight here instead of at like a sports bar. That's so much better for everybody.
We got to take another quick break. We come back. We got more of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Matt Jones.
And I am Slick. We're on X, Tech Talk Radio, as well as Facebook. Look for Tech Talkers on Facebook.
And now, back to Tech Talk Radio.
So we decided when we came back, all of a sudden Sean was able to come back. So we'd make it an all Sean segment of the show. What do you think, Matt? Slick, should we do it?
Sean!
It's the Sean segments.
So drones or Wise, your pick.
Oh, man, not drones and Wise.
No, so I'll take one of the listener questions
All right.
because you guys took one earlier. Mikey sent us a note via Facebook asking, is a 4-core 3.4 gig processor faster than a 14-core 2.4 gigahertz processor?
Ooh.
He's getting a system together to create some music and wasn't sure what to think.
Ooh.
So that's a loaded question
Yeah.
because one is fast in its own right and the other one is fast in its own right also. So you have to look at it like this, right? You have 4 cores. If you have 4 cores, there are 4 lanes. Think of it like traffic lanes, right? There's more traffic can go across those 4 lanes, but they can go at 3.4 gigahertz speed.
So they go at a higher speed, yeah.
So if you're doing a ton of audio editing with tons of instruments and tons of post-processing and tons of effects and tons of plugins, right? You're going to jam up those 4 lanes.
All right.
But if you add 10 more lanes of traffic, but they go slightly slower, you're going to be able to process a lot more information at the same time. It's just you're not going to see too much of an impact from a 2.4 to 3.4 gig. So it all depends on what you're trying to do.
Oh boy, creating music though, there's going to be a lot of different things that are going to be a part of that.
Right. So, but if I were to pick, I would pick the one with the 14 cores because it's going to allow you to do more across. If you have a digital audio, a DAW, a digital audio workstation, and you're running a ton of plugins,
Right.
this is going to help you not bottleneck your machine.
All right, but well, what if you could overclock that 2 point? Because a lot of people they forget about overclocking. If you could overclock the 3.4 or you overclock the 2.4 to make it a 3 gigahertz processor, you'd be in pretty good shape with that one, wouldn't you?
Yeah, overclocking the 2.4 probably to 3 or 3.2 would probably benefit you. You just have to at that point worry about the heat.
Yep.
You have to worry about your cooling. So,
Yeah.
but hopefully that answers Mikey's question. Opening the floor to you guys to let how did I do?
Yeah, not a fan of overclocking, but I will say this because I've dealt with this a little bit in the past. Depending on what software you're using, check to see what they recommend in regards to hardware. Because sometimes you'll be using software. Let's say you have 14 cores. You'll be using software that only takes advantage of 6.
Oh, okay. Good point.
Yeah, it's happened.
All right.
From my side, I'm on the opposite side of the fence. It's like I've overclocked every machine I've had since I think like 2006. In terms of heat care for your CPU, it used to be doing a liquid cooling solution was super expensive, super involved. Now you can get they're called AIO, all-in-one liquid coolers, and it's what's called a closed loop system. So it comes in a box. It's got the part that you set the heat sink that you set on top of your processor, just like anything else. And then there's 2 little braided tubes coming out of it that run to a radiator that most towers now have a space built in for. 3 fans, 2 or 3 fans usually go on top of that. And you've got a liquid cooling system that will easily take care of the heat concerns from overclocking. If you're in a laptop, that's a completely different kettle of fish. And you have to be careful with overclocking there, because laptops natively are not going to be as thermally regulatable as a tower, and there is a chance you could cook something if you're not careful.
You burn your legs too. You don't want to.
That's why for the longest time, Apple stopped referring to MacBook Pros as laptops and as mobile computers, because they did not want you to put them on your lap, because you would burn your lap.
Don't do that. All right, listen, we have run out of time for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in, and hopefully you'll be able to get with us next week. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeerd.
I'm Matt Jones.
And I am Slick. TechtalkRadio.com is the website.
Take care.